Welcome back. We are getting into the first map. It's going to be Blood Boil. We're seeing a nice round ladder map pool today as opposed to what we usually see, which is like Ascension, Odyssey, and Proxima. Or Abyssal. Abyssal's in there, definitely.
Yep.
And they're ready to go.
All right.
I really have to... So we were talking about it during the break, but Hurricane attempting to spell out the names in English, like... They're, like, most part pretty good. Like, Ascension was really close, but just, like, Sequencer... I wish I could show it in game.
Squeency or something.
It's like SYQC. Like, it was actually super weird. It was almost... It brought me back to, like, where did Symbol went? That was Rifkin just having the worst mistypes ever, not even drunk. Alright,
that's so funny.
that aside, Hurricane did win against Beyond in the first match of the day, and Solar won against Jon Snow. And now they're head-to-head in the winner's match, PvZ. In the top left, as the Blue Protoss, it is Hurricane.
Yes. And the bottom right, from Team Splice, this is Solar. So, of course, the winner of this series will go on to the next stage of the tournament. The loser will have to face the Beyond Believable. See what they can get done.
Yeah. Beyond does have this thing where he'll, lose and then come back, 3-2 or, 4-3 or something like that. And that might hold true in groups as well. Takes the loser's match, takes the decider, and then gets the, the comeback against Hurricane. I could see it. That'd be a good story.
Yeah, he likes to raise the heart rate of his fan base by, almost getting eliminated, and then sometimes just completely getting eliminated.
Yeah, sometimes. You gotta keep them on their toes.
The days of him just cleanly breaking through a group without taking any damage at all is gone. Like he'll always seem to lose a map or two in a series these days.
Yeah. Well, it's hard to stay on top forever, especially when his...
It's very, very true.
Yeah. Senpai.
So many, Beyond, if you watch his streams, he is still a really, really incredible player. But everyone else is getting good around him as well. Not good. They're already good, but getting better around him. So.
Yeah, no, I don't think anyone's saying he's gonna be. He's like, terrible player now, but he is definitely not the BlizzCon champion.
Yeah, not the world's best player anymore.
Where did we leave off on resubs, by the way?
Oh, that was a while ago. Shit, we've been casting StarCraft and stuff. It's been.
I know. Damn.
Sorry about that, guys.
Well, I'll go to, I seem to recognize some of these. So, thank you to I Am Dark Minions for the 19-month resub. With a lot of emotes. Ooh. Mr. Turtle 42 for 17 months. It's almost 20 years. Creekasm. Napacom for 28 months. And I think you got Sword Noobs for the 41 months.
Sword Noobs?
Didn't you say that was like a long time?
I think it was Sword Noobs. But,
did I say Sword Noobs? What did I say?
You said Sword.
Sword.
I think yeah, I don't know.
I have a speech impediment.
Okay. Sorry, I didn't mean to make you I didn't mean to shame you for your disability in front of 1,000 people. My bad. 2,000 now. Sorry.
I'm so embarrassed now. Yeah. Well, whatever. He got it. He understood. We have a Stargate opener from Hurricane. Solar's going for 3 bases. They chose Blood Boil as the first map, or rather, no one vetoed it, and then it was chosen the first map. It's always interesting to see. I feel like I gotta see Terrence choose it. Not
Oh, I choose Blood Boil. I like this map. I'm one of the few.
The graphics always bother me. I'm over it now. I can play on it, but I still don't like it. Winter.
Solar's got an Evo chamber right on the edge of the creep here in the main. This could be filling upgrades. I'm pretty sure that's probably the case.
Yeah. +1 melee, perhaps. Cancel the Shade. Doesn't go into the main base. Did he see the Illusion Chamber? No, I guess didn't go hard enough in there.
Didn't go hard enough. It's the problem with some of these pro gamers.
I'm sure his Oracle will see it, and Solar sees the Oracle building. No surprises there. So he follows up with Phoenixes. It is +1 melee. No shock.
Cool, man. I like it. Gonna get those Ling upgrades pretty important because, as we know, Zergs these days, they're lacking their Lings and their Banelings and their Hydralisks in ZVP for the most part. It's kind of the all-round composition that does everything that Zerg needs against everything that Protoss has for the most part.
Yeah.
Up until the mid to late game, that is.
Well, Solar scouts a third base rather, and that is a pretty important scout. Not many Protoss is 2-base all-in anymore though, so I would say like double checking the saturation is more key. Hurricane has definitely done some all-ins and cheeses against a lot of other Zergs, and a lot of them will be based off of kind of a fake third, one that only has like 4 or 5 probes on it, but a lot of gateways.
Yep. Yeah, and you're absolutely right. Like the days of the 2-base all-in are kind of over, unless you Rotterdam.
Yeah, well, I think Hurricane even went for a 2-base all-in. Like, it can still happen, just it's so easily scouted, right? Like, 20 seconds after third base is supposed to be put down, the Zergs are always like,
Ooh, it's gonna be good stasis ward.
Ah.
Damn. Actually, not that many drones. I thought it'd be better.
All right, well, good thing, because I missed it, but yeah, not too many. Phoenix did take out the Overlord, and then I was also going to point out that there's a double Forge in the back here, which is interesting. Seems like Forge is becoming more popular, and if they're not, apparently, well, if they're not faster, then there's just more of them. So we've been seeing Forges off of 2-base from some players, and now we see a double Forge off of 3 for Hurricane, but more stasis traps going down. The real trick about stasis traps is not just that they stop mining if they, get a lot of drones. This one was nicely deflected. Is that as we saw over here, you do have to manually put them back to mining. If they're constantly doing what Hurricane's doing, just like bing bang boom everywhere, stasis traps, you might forget to put the drones back in gas, and that's probably even more important than the drones than minerals.
It not only forces out multitasking, but APM out of your opponent. So it's just like, everyone has a finite cap ceiling on how much APM they have, and it's nice to cut into that a little bit. Could mess with their brain, could mess with their timings and their rhythm and all sorts of stuff as well. So
yeah.
It's a good little move, even if you don't catch drones. We see that Charge Lots is the follow-up here for Hurricane. Like, he's going straight into him, dropping 7 gateways and starting Immortal production. So he's ready for the Lingbane Hydra.
I'm like wondering about this too, because he's not quite dropping a Twilight Council. Usually expect to see a couple of Archons eventually, but I'm like looking at the gateways.
Well, he already has Twilight Council.
Oh, sorry.
Ooh,
yeah, Temple Archives. You know what I meant. Robotics Bay though. I was just gonna mention, like, if he has been building a Warp Prism, I'm thinking of like a Charge All-In or something like that. Oh, it is a Warp Prism. There it is. But it's not a Charge All-In. In fact, he warps in before charge, and it's in the natural, and it dies.
Yeah, goodbye Warp Prism, and these Charge Lots don't get too much done either. They got 2 drone kills, but considering how much minerals of Hurricane just got lost here, I'd say that's a pretty good hold there by Solar. Now, there's the Templar Archives you were wondering about. It's on the way. Second Prism on the way as well. 2-2 on the way for Hurricane, and I'm feeling like he's going to probably want to get Colossus here because it's just a much better option against Lingbane Hydra, I feel, than Disruptors. It's not. I'm feeling Colossus. I'm feeling it. Please don't make me look foolish, Hurricane.
Well, I'm looking at Hurricane. It's like he's got 2 gateways that aren't rockets. Oh, Disruptor. Correct.
Rip.
Yeah. But okay, he did notice. It's like kind of important. Numerous amount of charge lots. But, yeah. All right. So, second Warp Prism is going to come back in and do that harassment that the first one was only unable to do. To be honest, I thought it was just an Oracle doing the Stasis Trap harassment again, so I didn't go to it. Which, oh my god, that was a great Stasis Trap. Because Hurricane's just been so on point about it. The downside of this, of course, is that he has 2 Oracles and they're literally both spending their energy on this. He has nothing to cast Revelation. Obviously, there's no Widow Mines that you have to detect, but you do want to know where the army is, and really, there just isn't like any vision from Hurricane. So he even has all those Elnagas.
And I mean, Solar just tried to do a 4 Baneling run by into the 3rd Nexus there of Hurricane, which got deflected for the most part, only lost to Cannon. Yeah, I mean, when you're going for Disruptors against this kind of composition and you don't see where the army is until it's on your front door, or at the front of your army, then it's not super amazing. The Oracles are still using their energy to Stasis Wards. Another one on the top there of Solar's main.
I mean, Hurricane, like, kudos to him. He's getting scouting kind of with these drops and stasis traps, but I don't think it's enough. Like, it's past the point of time you're seeing the saturation of a Zerg player. Like, they're maxed out and they're just trying to build army. And otherwise, he's not really scouting tech. So, stasis traps are cool and all, and they're consistent, but I am really worried he's going to be swamped. As you're saying, it's just right on top of you. Disruptors die before they get the shot off. It's not very useful. But this observer does see the army coming in here.
Oh, Solar springing a trap here, and there goes the Disruptors to the Banelings!
Well,
Should have gone Colossus, man.
Yeah, that's gonna be game.
Yep, that's it.
Just roly-poly on in here, man.
All those concerns that you were speaking of ended up coming completely true here for Hurricane, and now Solar is in here with a bajillion Hydralisks. And that's going to be GG.
Yeah, it is.
Now, does Hurricane start calling you, like, what's your rate for coaching? Because I feel like everything you just said needs to get thrown into Hurricane's gameplay here. Get those revelations onto those Zerg units, man.
Give me $20. Let's tell you how good Revelation is.
Yeah, give me $20, I'll do a YouTube video on Revelation.
But no, that was, I think, his main problem. I mean, he might have had a couple of... he did have macro mistakes, right? Because I literally pointed out his gateways. But, I mean, I think it really was just... He didn't have his army in position. He isn't, like, using the ramps that were going up to his third base. His only, like, sight was that one observer. So even though he saw it and tried to respond to it, it only gave him, like, 5 seconds. I think that was his biggest problem. But his Warp Prism didn't do any damage. And that probably hurt him as well. And,
yeah, that's true. Forgot about the Warp Prism.
Yeah.
And then he has a second Warp Prism, which I don't remember what happened to it.
Yeah, exactly.
Didn't do much.
I mean, Solar was taking so much stasis trap damage, but he was still like kind of exploding in drone and base count. So,
it looked cool though.
It looked really cool. I was having trouble keeping up with what Hurricane was doing, but it just didn't matter. It was like that feels like the I don't know, like there's like a GIF out there or whatever. GIF, I'm sorry. We're like.
I was about to ask you, are you actually a GIF person, or are you being unironic when you say GIF?
I was, and then Rifkin kept yelling at me.
I think you're allowed to say whatever you like because you're a human being that can make their own decisions. But I'm not going to go Rifkin on you. You know what I mean?
Thank you. Anyways, it just feels like someone's doing something like a lot, and then the master just kind of like punches them once, and you know, it's game over. That's what it felt like.
Oh, yeah.
Well, they're actually chit-chatting. I don't know what about. But they're both ready. Let's do this. Ascension to
I'm ready too. Cool map. I'm liking it, Ascension Io. It's one of the... it's kind of like, you know, heading into the sort of, you know, more of one of those more standard maps, mainly balanced for the most part. You don't see anyone that truly hates it.
Well, I know Protoss is, and Terran, but Protoss is really, I think they have a worse win rate. Although it's really balanced now, believe it or not. But anyways, I think they've been complaining about the wideness of maps and the amount of open space. So you can see in Ascension Ire, there's like a ton of opportunities for those bands to come crashing in. But it's a surprisingly balanced time in StarCraft 2's history. Despite anyone's complaints. I mean, everyone complains all the time, so... You know,
there's always someone out there that's complaining.
Yeah. Anyways, in the bottom right, up 1, it is the Teal Zerg Solar.
And in the top left, currently down 1. This is Hurricane, the Protoss player.
Yep. Like I said, it seems that Protosses are having more trouble on these large maps with open spaces. I'm sure Hurricane kept that in mind, but he didn't mind letting it through the vetoes. I mean, I guess there's only so many vetoes, you know, you get, right? So, of all the maps, you have the Odyssey, which is kind of like Ascension Ire, Ascension Ire, Proxima. Those are 3 maps that are quite big with large open spaces. Abyssal is big, but doesn't have any open spaces, right? Like a lot of linear paths.
Yeah, Abyssal's like Choke Point City.
Yeah, exactly. I was just saying, I don't think he would have minded, but oh well. I think it is super hero for the 20 months. You almost had me saying 20 years.
20 years of support.
Yeah, 20 years saving esports. Exactly.
Damn. Attaboy, superhero. Hero.
Yeah. Well, this probe's trying to get the best scout possible. He's, I mean, what is a normal opener, right? And we'll be looking more towards when and how much is the third base saturated. Hurricane, his opener was not bad. That wasn't really the bad part of the game. I think he had a couple of missteps with the Warp Prism and the charge lots. The beginning was fine.
Yeah, no, he was pretty solid. In fact, I would say that, you know, just as far as macro goes and little moves here there, he was, there, is, he was, he was actually starting to shoot ahead of Solar every now and then. But, you know, he was pretty solid. In fact, I would say that, you know, just as far as macro goes and little moves here there, he was actually starting to shoot ahead of Solar every now and then. But, you know, he was pretty solid. In fact, I would say that, you know, just as far as macro goes and little moves here there, he was actually starting to shoot ahead of Solar every now and then. But, That final engagement, though, them disruptors, though, getting killed by banelings.
Yeah, looking very
Feels
useless.
bad, man.
He also got
Didn't
up.
even shoot off a purification nova. It was like they were just
Oh
gone.
yeah, you're right. I was gonna say he also went for double upgrades, which I made a big point of, but we never really got to see because I think those would have really mattered if he had gotten that warp prism. All 8 zealots warped in so that they snowball to 8 more zealots to 8 more zealots. I think that's when 1/1 charge lots was suddenly like, wow, this build is amazing. Look how the Lings die. He just never got to do it, so when banelings crash into clumped up units, it doesn't matter what upgrades they have, they're gonna die. Which I felt was very, it's unfortunate. I wanted to see how the build was gonna really go when I really didn't get to see it.
Solar getting a look of the build right now as his first link comes in. Oh, doesn't get into the main, doesn't see that Twilight Council, but he does get to see the natural and the probe count for the most part as well. And that is a Dark Shrine getting dropped for Hurricane. Haven't seen a robotics facility just yet, so I'm thinking just going to go for the straight up DTs.
Cheesy, cheesy, cheesy. I was going to say, like, the Twilight Council positioning kind of felt like he meant to keep it secret for a Dark Shrine. And I was waiting on that Robo, and well, it never came, so... Makes a lot more sense when he includes the proxy pylon. We got Resident Glaives on the way as well, so... not... Like, it's a 1-2 punch, but in the order you didn't expect it. Oh, but speaking of punches, there was an overlord made. There were more Lings made as well. The wall is up and ready to go. There's just not a lot of units to help protect the probes.
Yeah, I mean, there's actually no units, except for this one Stalker at the front, in the main, rather, but the front door is in trouble. Warp Gate may be denied here. The Lings are going to get the Sniper Core.
Oh, that's bad. It wasn't even chrono boosted. I feel like if it was chrono boosted, it would have been done. But that was far too late, and now he cannot use his Dark Shrine build, or his Adept build.
Yeah, I mean, he's not going to be able to make Adepts. This pylon getting a little bit low. There is still a full wall up by the looks of things for Hurricane, but the Lings are just chipping away and doing damage as time goes forward. He's going to have to make a DT out of a gateway, old school style.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's like it's one thing not to be in proxy warped in, but it's not to be able to warp in at all. That's a pretty big deal. He's supposed to be like racking up his Adepts while his DTs throw Solar off, but obviously Solar's the one throwing Hurricane off. Now Hurricane doing a surprisingly good job. That Stalker lived way longer than I thought it was going to, and he hasn't really lost that many probes. But his build has been entirely scouted and entirely delayed, and I think shut down because it is so delayed.
Yeah, I mean, Solar doesn't have Spore Crawlers back at home or anything like that, but he's just got so much damage on the other side of the map that he's forcing Hurricane to stay home. But now he just sends that first DT across the middle of the map, but now Spore Crawlers are going down for Solar. And the Spores are going to finish in time, question mark? Or when the DTs arrive at the third.
I can't believe that Warp Gate wasn't chronoed. He was like pretty full in saturation too. Oh, that's harsh.
Yeah. What a scrub.
Well, trying to build a gateway now so that when he does have Warp Gate, at least it'll be a little bit faster. But this DT, well, there's a Spore Crawler, but there's nothing to kill it, so it's going to get a couple of drones. That's the good news.
Yeah, getting a little bit of hurt on. Nice control from Solar to keep most of them alive. But Hurricane is against the ropes, man. There's not too much that's going good for Hurricane in this game at the moment.
Yeah.
Whoa, okay. Well, Hurricane's just building a new main outside the, well, to the very northeast of the map here.
I mean, I kind of like it. Like, he has all the tools to make this attack happen. He just didn't have the timing, like, more so than usual. Oh, that's harsh. Just to kill a pylon. At least he's compensating for it.
What, Hurricane, you compensated for something?
Yeah, he is. Okay, that Warp Prism scout. I mean, you know, her Solar scouting still a lack of a third base, and while you give them some leeway on the third base because, you know, you're really in their main base for so long attacking with Lings, I think this is... If they're going to take a third base, they would have tried. Definitely. I mean, 400 minerals, they could have racked that up a long time ago. Clearly he did. He just put it all into gateways.
This is actually so sick. I feel like Ravi would be having like a stargasm right now if he was watching this game. He'd be having a great time.
Should have been researching DT Blink too. That's one thing it's missing.
Yeah, that is missing. The most useful and most researched upgrade in StarCraft 2.
Yes.
And that is just a bunch of Adepts being warped in with a Zealot for flavor.
I think a front attack might have been better. Actually, just just overwhelming the third might have been the better option, which he's still planning on doing, mind you. I think this is just a distraction tactic. And it looks like Solar is like well aware the distraction is real. He just doesn't know how or where, and how did he not scout that?
Yeah, Solar just missed that, and there's two Archons with a bunch of Adepts coming in here. Oh, this third's actually in trouble.
Yeah, don't
Solar,
forget,
come home.
the Adepts have Resident Glaives that researched so long ago. I don't know if we can take
Yeah,
this
the Adepts
on.
doing a fair bit of damage here. The Adepts are just cleaving through this third base, and here come the Lings and the Banelings. Of course, the Banelings don't have speed. There's not too many Banelings at all, actually. They're just being morphed now. Oh, a big shave forward. That was very bold from Hurricane.
Yeah. I was going to say, I didn't think that Hurricane could take on the army if there was Banelings, but even without Banelings, it was still pretty good. The Lings have +1, there was enough Hydras and Queens. The Warp Prism was taken out, and even though he has those proxy gateways, it was really the distraction tactics that were trying to make him win.
Yeah, and Hurricane's attack, as cool and swag value as that was, gets deflected. And Solar takes a pretty hefty supply lead here, primarily in workers, but his army's not too shabby as well. He's got the Lings, the Banes, the Hydras, as you expect. And with +1 attack on those Lings, he's got that DPS as well. +2 attack actually nearly done as well. So it's everything going good for Solar right now.
I feel like when you see the Mothership Corps coming across the map, that's like the worst cavalry has arrived, and it's really bad too. It's like, no, you should have stayed at home. Don't even bother.
She's like, tickle, tickle.
Alright, well, Solar takes out Hurricane very easily, it looked like, with a 2-0.
Yep, so it's, Solar and Beyond will be our decider match here, by the sounds of things, if I'm not mistaken. So that's going to be a cool TvZ coming up.
Yeah, TVP, yep. That's going to be a rematch.
Oh, sorry, TVP, yep.
Yeah.
Rematch.
The first match of the day where Hurricane is able to take out Beyond 2-0. So we'll see if Beyond can bring it back, but we'll be taking a quick break before we start things. So thanks for watching, guys.